So, Mario, I would say you can start with your presentation, and we are looking
Cool.
forward to how to prompt in Midjourney.
That's amazing. Yeah, I will try to show you what I have learned so far from trying out. So I think this could maybe save you some time. Maybe just two sentences about myself. I'm originally a filmmaker, a director, and I'm the creative director of CHAPTR and White Mirror since a couple of months. And so we're really happy that people are actually showing up and are interested in what we're doing and interested in the future of AI filmmaking and AI storytelling. And a big part of it is really, creating ideas from the get-go and starting with imagery. Before we give them motion, we will, I think, always start with the still. It also, when it comes to filmmaking, you start with storyboards and all of this and concept art, and this happens in still life. So I think that's why Midjourney is such an incredible tool, especially since it's also very cinematic and allows you to create super cinematic stuff. And so I guess one thing I want to ask is there anyone who has never used Midjourney before, or has everyone tried it out a little bit? You can also try it out here in our AI playground. I'm going to share my screen in a second, and then you can, or I'll share it right now. Then you'll be able to see where you can also in this Discord try out some stuff in Midjourney, and I'm super excited about seeing what you guys try out with the stuff you might learn today. So I'm gonna share my screen.
And one just organization topic.
Yeah.
So we will record this session. So just everyone, if you don't disagree with the recording, then you unfortunately have to leave, because we want to provide some content as well for the brighter audience. So so sorry, Mario, feel free to continue.
All good. You should be able to click on my screen now. I think if you if it looks the same in your end, then you'll see there's a tiny little window. There's three windows, there's Geo, Hoppy, myself, and then there's my screen that you can click on. And then you should be able to see what I'm doing. Is that correct? Does this work?
Yes, we now see your Discord screen. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Do you see yourself 1,000 times now? I'm going to jump to this. Okay. There's our AI playground. Do you see this? It works, right? Gail, do you see this?
Yeah. It works.
Okay. So this is basically how Midjourney always looks like. If you have a private account, then it looks slightly different. Then it's you chat directly in your direct messages. You chat with your Midjourney bot. In this case, you can just basically prompt inside this thread, the AI playground. And before we're actually going to create something, there's one thing we should look at, and it's the settings. So if you go on, you type in settings, so it's backslash and then settings, you will see this popping up. So this is the Midjourney bot where you put in your settings. There's these different versions. As you might know, there's these. If you have played around with Midjourney, there are several versions to play around with. All of these versions have different kind of aesthetic features. The newest version is MJ version 4. You will see probably you saw it in some prompts. In the end, there's dash and 4. That means the version, the MJ version 4. There's 1 to 4. I think sometimes also the first versions are super interesting because they have this very own aesthetic. And then there's also Niji mode, which is basically a mode to create anime style images. I haven't tried a lot around with this, but it's supposed to be super fun. And it's like, if you really want to create some anime style characters and worlds, and this is the mode you want to go with. It also works though with MJ version 4. So what I've set up is just basically base quality. It really like it. I found out that it doesn't matter that much. Like, I wouldn't go half quality or test photo, but base quality is totally doable. The style basically defines the, let's say, the creative flexibility you would allow Midjourney to have. This comes really into play, especially if you have like a reference image that you want to work from, then it might take some more liberty and create as the lower the style, the closer it will stay to the reference. We'll have it at style medium right now, a regular upscale. I have it at regular upscale right now because sometimes I've experienced that that when you like do like an upscale, the image looks very different to the first version that has been shown in prompting. So those are the settings. I'm going to leave them like this. Public mode, stealth mode. This is something, if you buy into Midjourney, if you have like a subscription and pay more, you can also use the stealth mode, so nobody's able to see what you create in Midjourney if you want to keep it private. But this is all we need for now. So I hope you can also see my browser window. We're going to try to create something like this, or I'm going to show you how I did this basically. When I got into Midjourney, I saw a lot of stuff that focused on world building and super crazy worlds, but I've never seen, I haven't seen many like portraits that look real. And so I was trying to find out how I can do this. And there's a couple of findings I made. It's like important to reference stuff that the web knows a lot about, that is like a lot of data. For example, if you want a detailed face, there's certain kind of prompts, but also it helps to work with celebrity faces and all of this. But I'm going to come to this more later. This is the prompt I'm going to show you in a bit. I forgot what I wanted to say first. I think I wanted to tell you about how you structure basically a prompt. And there's basically a structure roadmap that I work with, and it works pretty much like this. You can see it here in this kind of prompt. So you start with mostly you start with something like where do I have it? Sorry about this. So we're going to talk about these shots. All right, let's start with this one. So the way I normally do is I think of like a frame sizing, like how big does this image should be like. You really come from like photography, from a camera cut and point of view. You think about like the framing, so how wide should this image be? Then you talk about the actions, what is actually happening inside the image, and you put important stuff first. Then C, you add additional features, like are there any important details you want to have in the image? Then D, what's in the background? It always helps to separate what's happening in the foreground to the background. So I think that helps Midjourney to not get confused. E, add some, I'll call it emotional prompts, emotional verbs or adjectives you want to add to this. And then technical prompts. And technical prompts could mean this is happening in daylight, hard light, diffuse light, any description you can find basically to describe the setting and the mood of the images. or the lighting, and then you can even start adding lenses and f-stop, or if you want to do it like a long exposure, these kind of things, they all come into the technical prompts. We can have a look at how this looked like here. Please tell me if I'm just talking too much and you have any questions. Please raise your hand. I might hear it and see it. So, basically it says wide shot, a woman resembling Regina King, because as I said, it always helps to pick people that there's a lot of data about. So I pick a lot of like famous actors. Exploding in the middle of Times Square in the 1960s, while a giant pirate ship from a Wes Anderson movie is approaching in the background. So you can go really wild on these. Then cinematic lighting, soft light, diffuse light, natural shading, elaborate composition, depth of field, anamorphic, 24mm lens, Leica R, f-stop for cinematic lighting, cinematic cinematography, daylight, grain. You can add everything and everything that helps. And you will find out yourself what prompts help you and which don't. And what is really helpful is to actually put it in the style of someone. So if you have like a favorite cinematographer or some street photographer, anyone you want to reference, or it doesn't copy them in a way, but you can have them as a reference so the data knows what's the look and feel overall to it. And so you can start with this. This, for example, is fairly easy. This is Paul Mescal. I always like it. It doesn't look like Paul Mescal, but it's somewhat resembling. And Paul Mescal crying, tears running down face, detailed eyes, detailed face. See, since I'm so close to it, you don't see what's happening, but I'm trying out putting stuff in there. There's no sinking ship swallowed by the ocean in the background. Maybe it's behind him. I don't know. Cinematic lighting, natural shading, composition, and here I wrote in the style of Greg Fraser, who is an amazing cinematographer. He did the last Batman movie and all that. So he does sort of very naturalistic compositions, natural lighting, really soft lift stuff. That always helps. And all right, and then there's like something you could. I think let's try it out, right? Let's see what happens while creating it. I think this is the best way to learn, by just doing it, because you're going to see that it doesn't always work out on the first take. So I'm going to jump back to our event stage, and are there any standard specs when it comes to frame technical prompts lenses that we can use that will always work? Great question, Dana. Well, I think it's really what I do basically is I always use the same prompts, kind of like I always tend to try out stuff, and I see the stuff that works. I always copy and paste basically into new stuff and see what works best. So you'll find out what kind of lens sizing you want. If you know something about photography, that always helps, but it's not a given. Like you can also just in the beginning start the prompt with, okay, this is a close-up of a face. And what's really interesting, the more detail you put into prompting something like detail in the face, the more detail it will get. So I don't know. Maybe let's play this as a game. Maybe someone can type in an idea that you want to see come to life here in the chat. Maybe something. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone have anything you want to try out? Could it be a close-up? Maybe should we start easy, or do we want to go full on creative and add stuff? Alex is typing something. Thank you.
Yes.
Close-up of Vivienne Westwood knitting at home. That is beautiful. I'm going to copy this. Thank you. All right, let's go to the AI playground. So what happens now is like \imagine, and this is what I'll use the regular Midjourney bot. I think there's another bot, Gero. Maybe you can tell us what that one is about. That's the white mirror Midjourney bot, right? Which
Yes.
one should people use?
Yeah, people can mostly use the Midjourney bot. So the White Mirror bot is just a custom bot. It's from Me6. It's like a Discord bot, and he has as well this Imagine feature. And I assume that they use the Midjourney API. So, but I think I just tested both, and I would recommend to use the first one. And there was some addition I just saw, Mario, in the style of Nadia Lee Cohen, just in the chat.
Oh, I'm gonna jump back. Wait a second.
Yep.
Thank you for this, because I
You're
don't
welcome.
see the style of Nadia Lee Cohen. That's amazing. All right, cool. Thank you very much for these. Let's try it out. AI playground. So we're generating the prompt. Okay. Close up of Vivian Westwood knitting at home. Check out it. Jump back. And the style of Nadia Lee Cohen. So I think I'm gonna try it out first, just like this, and so we see what we can improve, you know, when we add stuff. I'm not gonna add anything like version 4, but okay, here's something. If you wanted to have it more cinematic, if you want to change the ratio of the images to like be 16:9, for example, you do like this --3:2. I think this works. Sometimes I have to copy and paste it. And let's see what happens next. Sorry about this. I have to copy it close up. Gonna do it again. And let me jump in my Midjourney bot. Where is it? There you go. So now you see all the stuff I'm working on. Where are we? Here. AI playground.
I think you just have. Oh, no, it's working. Okay, perfect.
Now it's working. Yeah. It was just like, I don't know why, but sometimes the dash doesn't work. Now we're waiting for it to start. And I think in the meantime, we can also try already what happens if we add more features to this. We see it slowly coming together. So what's going to happen is it's probably going to look good already, but because in the style off already helps a lot, because it knows, okay, there's some sort of reference to this. But now if you really want, this is going to be very random, and all the images are going to be very random. They look kind of nice though. Looks interesting. But now you can add stuff to it. If you want to, let's say, close up of Vivian Westwood knitting at home in the style of Nadia Lee Cohen. Now you can add stuff where you, let's have some details like red sweater, natural shading, cinematic. I'll copy some stuff from that I had here. Let's add some.
Someone from the audience asked if you can add a 1950s from the style.
1950s, of course.
Yeah.
Do this.
Yeah.
And I'll add some natural shading, interesting composition. Maybe we also change the timing. Just gonna copy all of this, and I'm gonna start red sweater 1950s. red sweater, natural shading. And let's say maybe, should it be blue hour? Maybe we can also have a nighttime.
Mario, there's one question from the audience. I just will read over it.
Yes.
Alex
Thank
Schiller
you.
asked, is there a reason you put in a dash in the prompt, like you wrote red dash sweater? Does that affect anything?
I have no idea. I think it. I think it does. I've saw. So basically, how I learn my stuff, I went through Reddit and copied stuff together, and also saw how other people wrote it. And I saw people bringing stuff together like this, bringing words and prompts together with a dash. And so that's why I did it, and I think it actually works. So what I found out, what really helps if you want to get a face correctly, then these prompts really help. Ultra photoreal or intricate details. What might happen is that we end up in a close-up. It really depends on where you put the prompt. The first things first is like the rule pretty much. Okay, let's see how these changes affect what we see. This is very interesting already, huh?
That looks cool. Yeah, really nice.
This is really odd. It's like a knitted doll that resembles Vivienne Westwood. Okay, you see. So now if you like add these things, you see it already. Like if you add these, she's wearing a red sweater, put it in and put it somewhere close to the beginning if you really want that to be happening. The same goes also for emotions. If Vivienne should be super happy, then really put it somewhere in the very beginning, you know? That looks super dope already, I think. So if you want to have the same thing, but you have the feeling, okay, I really want Vivienne to be happy, close up of a happy Vivienne Westwood, then put it somewhere at the very beginning. And if you want to really make sure, then put it red sweater, smile. I learned that you cannot actually put too many prompts in there. Sometimes it confuses it, but if you really want to make sure that it goes the way you want it to, then always add something.
Mario, just one question from my side. So do you know if the order is taken into account? That means if you put something at the beginning of the sentence, will it be periodized, and at the end it's less important, or?
Yes, I'm not for sure, but this is the experience I made. That if you really want to be sure about that stuff happens, don't put it in the end. Put it in the beginning, because it somehow adds to the importance. Now you see, okay, this is coming together nicely. Where this is very random already because we didn't put enough prompts. It's getting more and more what we want. Now we have a happy Vivienne Westwood. And there you go, like it's adding up. And if you find like, okay, this is more like this, as you know, these buttons, or you might know U1 means upscale, so we can have a big one. I kind of like that expression. I'll just click on here, so it's gonna upscale the job. Or if you want a variation, let's try that as well. A variation of this one, then it's just V3, that's the third one. So we're gonna have like a third version of that. So I think this is pretty much the basics already. There's one more thing that I want to show you, which is a lot of fun and where a lot of creativity comes to play. It's actually adding prompts or ideas that are not the usual, that you wouldn't necessarily connect with the images you're making. And what I mean by that is, for example, if you use like a scientific phenomena to an image, or if you have something that adds, you want to add some magic to this, or create like something that's more fantasy like, then it's always fun to add stuff that doesn't fit in the first place. I'm going to show you an example for this. So
Mario,
here is
there was as well a question from the audience from Gogero. He means,
Yeah.
I wonder how it would look like if we remove suggestion of Nadia Lee Cohen. Is there then? What do you think? Is there will be a big difference?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
maybe we can try it?
Yeah, absolutely. It will change it completely.
And Felix added
Let's,
as well. We can maybe add later it to Craig Fraser as. But let's one by one.
let's do it. Let's do it right now. I think this is a great idea. So where did I put it? In the style home. So I'm going to delete this. It's all in there. I'm going to stay with everything so we really see the difference into the details. The in the style of always works also in the end. And let's say in the style of, let's say, Roger Deakins. Roger Deakins is also a well-known cinematographer. He did Blade Runner 2049, for example. Let's put it in there. And let's see what happens. Okay, so these are done. So we have variations from this image. You see they're fairly similar. Things might always be different, but this really helps if you're not sure, if you think, okay, this is actually a nice image, but it's not perfect yet. Try out the variations and see if one of those really kicks you. There's an upscale, and what you're going to see is the upscale usually also improves the quality of the image when you see like those are great details. This actually looks realistic. As you can see, Midjourney has problems with hands, but this is fairly good actually. This is a weird zombie hand. It looks like a chicken foot, but okay. Yeah, it does look different, but it still has that vibe. Maybe it's the 1950s prompt. Let's see how that changes. And I'll also add something, a change that's more modern, basically. I'm gonna delete the 1950s. Let's add also like a blue hour or golden hour. And maybe Roger Deakins isn't perfect because he does a lot of like, has also a lot of like, yeah, more organic analog references. Craig Fraser is more digital. Let's see what happens now.
Mario, quick one.
Yes, please.
You still have Nadia in, so you wrote in the style of Nadia Roger Deakins.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nadia Greg Fraser. Maybe this also has an impact.
Thank you very much. Gonna add this. Nadia Greg Fraser. Sure. I really love how these look while they're being created. They still look very analog. I wonder why that is. But it has changed in level of detail. Ah, yeah. Okay. You see this? This is like way more modern now. Yeah. And this is this is still Nadia Greg Fraser. Okay, now makes sense. So you see here, if I'll upscale this one, the third one, for example, you're going to see a big difference from where we came from, and where we want to go. This actually looks like a Christmas commercial right now. So for all the commercial people, you can use those for your moods for the next Christmas commercials.
Maybe something for Coca-Cola.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, yeah, this is still working. I think what we do is I'll jump back to that thought of adding stuff that we'll stay with this. Sometimes what is really fun if you have come so far to add something that does make sense, because you might come up with a result that really surprises you. And this is fun now because you can use Midjourney as like a sparring partner that
Mario,
gives you new ideas. Yes.
There's just
Yes.
an hint from a user Nick Zoe. He says you can give a higher or lower weightage to your prompts by adding numbers. I think was like imagine street, and then he's an example, and then with Doppelpunkt.
Yeah.
Zwei Doppelpunkt. Maybe you can check the chat
I will
to see it.
Yes, I
We
will
can try
do
it.
That's great. Thank you. Where was that?
Yes. Yeah.
You can give a higher or lower weightage to your prompts by adding numbers. Maybe I think this is what the style is, right? Or am I wrong? Like when I change it in the settings, is this also what the if I go into the settings and I change the style number of that? Yes, that's what you can tell it should focus on, or both together. Will Smith and should I do the same thing when putting up the style? Or the width? Oh, I see. I've never tried this, to be honest. Imagine street at night, skyscrapers, double dot 5 cars. So this is the weight. The weight 5 means the skyscrapers are more important than the cars. Is that what it means? Yes. All right, got it. Okay, thank you. Great input. Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that. That's perfect. That's awesome. Thank you. I learned something new. So I'm gonna try something. I'm adding something unpredictable, basically. So we have that very like now we like this. We think this looks kind of cool. This now looks very modern. It's very detailed. It looks pretty realistic. The hand is kind of odd, but you can just take it and crop it where it is. Then I think it's perfectly fine. It has a lot of like depth of field. It genuinely looks like something modern, modern cinematography. Let's try the same one, and let's add something that's like weird. Close up of happy Vivian Westwood, knitting at home, dissolving into jelly. And you'll see that something that is doesn't fit there might create something unexpected. Let's see. This is the stuff that makes it highly addictive because you can like now come up with dumb ideas and see what hits you back. Let's see what happens.
There was also the question from Felix to try some artist style, so maybe Pixar style or something like that.
Yes, that's a great idea.
Maybe we can try it
idea.
afterwards.
It seems that I'm not sure if it worked, to be honest. Let's see. Sometimes you have to try out really. She didn't dissolve into jelly. I have a feeling. Why didn't
Yeah.
that happen? Turning to
Mario, maybe you also want to
yes.
try out now the weight. So if you want to prioritize, so you can have into jelly and then the 5, for
That
example,
that is
might
great.
be good.
So where do I put this? Do I put it before that? So it's like this?
No, after. So do after the jelly, then you have the 5. Yeah.
And would that be connected like this? Or is there like a space between it?
In the comments, they had a space here in the chat. Sorry.
All right. So let's try, and I'll add another jelly, and I'll add the adjective liquid. While we wait for this, we can let's try out different kind of styles in the style of, yeah, let's do it in the style of Pixar. And what happens now, then I would take out a couple of prompts that make it maybe that work against the Pixar idea. So let's try liquid, golden depth of field, morphic. That can all work. Maybe not the film grain. Maybe not photoreal. Intricate details, still fine. And I'll add something else. Maybe I'll take the lens out and instead add something like 3D animation. Just to make sure. Let's see what happens. Ah, funny. And the Pixar is winning the race, moving forward. Okay, wow. It's too detailed, huh, for Pixar. And this is interesting. Holy crap. That looks super evil. But it's not really Pixar though. Let's see what made it look like this. I'll take out a couple, I'll add the Pixar also here. Close up, home turn at home. I'll redo some prompts. That's how you spend hours, right? Like trying out prompts and see what happens. Part of the deal, I guess.
Maybe there in the meantime, is there someone from the audience where want as well speak on the stage? So feel free already just to raise your hand or just ask in the chat. So yeah.
All right, so this feels already like this is going to be more like Pixar. There you go. This-
The first one looks like in a horror movie.
Wow. These look amazing, actually. This looks like a hand knitted. Like this is a funny thing that happens a lot. Like it mixes the prompts. Like it's like now we added she's knitting, and it's adding the mixing up the knitting prompt with the overall design. But I really like how this looks. And that really feels like a Pixar character. I love these. I'm sorry the jelly one didn't work out as I hoped, but it will eventually after trying out a little more. Which one is this? This is a later one. Oh my God. Stuff of nightmares. Yeah. But as soon that's I think what I wanted to say is like if you have found a style that you like and you want to explore other routes that would be possible, try adding adjectives that mix everything up. Like for example, what I found like chaos or stress or energy or lightning or whatever like comes to your head that creates some friction. It will always create something new and help you exploring your creativity.
Cool, thank you, Mario. So, is there some more on your agenda, or should we wrap it up?
No, I think the last thing I would do was if there are any more questions. I think it's in the end, it's really about trying out stuff, finding out whatever happens, finding out what works for you, and then you
Cool.
have to explore it and spend some time. In my case, hours doing this. I think Young Gelato and Nixo are typing something. It's
Yeah, and Alex is coming to the stage. I think he has some questions. Or,
Yeah.
yeah, Alex, feel free
oh
to
my
speak.
God, Alex.
Yes, thank you. Something that I found really helpful is if you're looking for prompts, like you don't know what will affect your image, just go on to midjourney.com, and when you're logged in, and click on the explore button, because then you can see everything that all the other users are doing. And it always has the prompts. So if you see something that you really like let's say, I don't know, something anime style, you just look at that prompt and see what that user has been using, and then you can kind of, work from those prompts and see if that helps you get to the style that you want to get.
That's an amazing input. Yeah, I'm going to show you this. Like, if you go on midjourney.com and you go onto Explore, then this is what Alex meant. Like, you can browse through these and see what other people are using. And it's going to show you also the complete prompts. Some people use really short prompts, and I think that always is easier to understand. But the thing is, with the short prompts, sometimes it doesn't get you where you really want to go. Then it's more like a thing of luck, basically. But yeah, that's a great input. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, just for some more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Mario, could you show the portrait of the girl with the mirror-ish face again? Show us what kind of odd prompt was added.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what
yes, of course. I know which one
Okay,
you mean.
cool.
And also like I can also post stuff in here. Like I don't mind basically. So let me share my screen one more time. This is the one, right? So it's like this portrait of this scattered face falling apart. So the prompt was a woman resembling Eve Green, covered in spider webs and movements, and her face dissolving, ripped skin, detailed eyes, detailed cinematic lighting. And it's also cinematography in the style of Greg Fraser in this case. I'm gonna add this into our chat, and feel free to just copy it.
Cool, Nick. So thank you for
There you go. Thank you, Nick. So yeah. I see. Okay. Makes perfect sense. Thank you. That's great. That's a great example. I'm gonna save this. And also copy the link.
Mario, I have another question.
Yes, please.
The thing that I struggle with the most is framing and angles. No matter what I put in, like a lot of time I want to have like a wide drone shot of a landscape or something. And even if I put in something like wide aerial shot, it'll still be on the ground. And have you noticed that putting the framing right in the beginning of the prompt helped a lot?
Yes, that's what I experience, is that if you like really want to make sure that this happens, because I also tried these. Let me share my screen again. I'll just go into my Midjourney basically. So as you can see, I've tried some stuff. And let me see where there is some stuff where I have some aerials in there. Yeah, for example, this is something I found that always worked. If I wanted to something like this, and it's like an aerial view of Tokyo in the year 2049. Aerial view always worked for that, for like a bird's eye perspective, and it really made a difference if I put it in the very beginning. Maybe it was just a coincidence, but I had the feeling that it worked. That's why I always structure my prompts basically first with the framing size, and then describe what happens in the shot. And so this kind of worked many times. Like thinking of, there you go, aerial view of the Roman Empire, for example. This is an interesting one. Let me see what I prompted there. Now this is an aerial view of a wormhole. Yeah, but this always worked to me, putting that in beginning. So maybe try this and see if it works. Also, when it comes to low angle shot, stuff like this, and also the lens size, it always helped me a lot.
Cool. Mario, there was one last question, and I think then we can wrap it up. So did you make it happen to really get these characters of anamorphic lenses? I tried a couple of times, and it never felt like made a difference.
Not really. No, I have the same feeling. I've never seen like anamorphic lens flares, for example. I even tried like adding anamorphic lens flare as an extra prompt, but it never happened. I'm pretty sure it's gonna learn the AI and yeah, show those results. But me personally, I had it in there sometimes, but it never felt exactly like an anamorphic lens.
Cool. Then thank you guys for joining. There's just one more last thing. So we have prepared a POAP for everyone. I just will share it. So a POAP is a proof of attendance protocol. It's an application where you can just get like a digital badge. And yes, we can just we just provide you this POAP because you just joined our session, and this is like a digital badge. And feel free just to scan it with your smartphone, and yeah, grab your POAP. So it will be some further utility. So and we plan as well to have more POAPs for further events. So yes, I just will let it open. I would say the next 5 minutes, because I think, or maybe there are some people in our audience who are not knowing about POAP, so then maybe first get familiar with it. I think if when you already have an crypto wallet, then you can just put in your wallet ID, and it will be automatically minted to your crypto wallet. And if you are not, then you can just download the POAP app and create an account. You can just create an account with an email address. And then, yeah, just use your camera from your smartphone and just scan it, and then it should automatically connect it to your account. And yeah, thank you guys for joining the sessions. It was really fun to have you here, and as well, thank you for the commitment, and as well for the tips from the community. And yes, we are happy to have more events like that. And yeah, we appreciate every feedback of you, and thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you. And I think you'll also be able to see all the prompts that we used in the AI playground now. So yeah, hope to see you soon too for another event like this. I think we're gonna soon take apart the trailer for White Mirror that we did, in case you've seen it, and then we're gonna talk a bit about how we can actually
maybe just
make those move, those images.
Maybe just a short questions to the audience. Would this be something for you are interested in to that Mario's a little bit talking about how he has created the trailer? And yeah, and if yes, we can just create an additional advanced event where he can just highlight a little bit how we created this awesome trailer, and yeah, educate you all. And maybe as well you have some ideas how we can bring it to create some other cool stuff. So regarding the comments, Mario, I think this is something the audience would like to see. So good idea for us, and maybe we can plan it for the future, for the next weeks.